Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about forgiveness and why it's the greatest gift that you could give this holiday season. Now, this video, I'm going to pack it with as much high-value coaching that I can, the type of coaching I would give you if you were one of my one-on-one clients. Now, you're not going to want to miss out on all of the different details we're going to cover, and I'm going to dive into some really cool things at the end that we're up to, so make sure that you stay tuned till the end of the video. But with that said, let me start by asking you, have you ever walked into, a holiday gathering with your family or friends and felt tension in the room? Or maybe like you've carried your own silent hurt, letting it cast a shadow on maybe otherwise joyful season. Maybe there's some fear or regret as a part of that. Have you ever noticed how some of the holiday hurts just seem to resurface year after year, like unwanted gifts that you just can't return? Well, what if Christmas and this holiday season, you gave the greatest gift, not wrapped in paper, but wrapped in grace? And that's the gift of forgiveness. Now, my name is Jake Talbert. I'm the founder and author of a book called The GIVER Method. Now, I'm going to grab a copy for you. It's this blue book that you can actually get on Amazon, The GIVER Method. All 5-star reviews. It's been out for about 2.5 weeks. I'll put a link in the description where you can get access to it. I highly recommend you get yourself a copy and maybe even an extra copy that you could pay forward to someone else so that you can start transforming your life and their lives by going through the content that is in the GIVER Method. With that said, though, like I said, I'll put a link in the description. With that said, though, today we're going to be exploring why forgiveness might be the greatest gift that you could give throughout the season. And, how to use your unique gifts and superpowers to transform family tensions into those deeper connections. Because forgiveness, it's not just a moral virtue. I mean, it's really is a transformative act that frees you from the weight of resentment and opens up, the door to deeper connections. You can think of it like, that resentment and the things that you are unwilling to forgive. It's like we're just putting river rocks into a backpack, and that's starting to weigh you back more and more over time. And at a certain point, something's going to break. The bag, you, something, and it's going to throw off what it is you're doing and where you're going. And so this Christmas season, emotions are going to often run way higher. And so forgiveness can be the key to healing and harmony and creating unforgettable memories with those closest to you. Now, before we dive any deeper, of course, like I said, get a copy of the book. It's going to be really big. It's going to be awesome. And I think will have amazing impact on you. But outside of that, make sure that you subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. Go ahead and take the second right now and hit that thumbs up, hit the like button, and comment your thoughts along the way. I always love to hear what people have to say as we go through that process, as we start to see how that's working. You can also find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, all those sorts of places. Now, if you are new here and you're like, you keep mentioning the GIVER Method, which I understand is a book, but I don't understand what it is. Well, the GIVER Method is all about helping people to discover and develop their unique gifts and superpowers so that they can provide more value to the people who are in their sphere of influence and make every engagement, interaction, discussion as eager and effective and intentional as possible. And what you'll get from that is you're going to have a deeper, more meaningful relationships, what I call relationship riches. You're able to step into who it is that you're meant to be so you can make a greater impact, have those deeper connections, and have more fulfillment in life. What I've found is that when people do this, they discover their gifts, superpowers, and develop them and give them in this way, the universe always has a way of paying you back. And so I'm inviting you to invite the universe to pay you back by going through that. So we're going to explore these principles and help us utilize the gift of forgiveness and transform the holiday gatherings that we have. As I go through, once again, I said it's going to be high value content, and I'm actually going to have action items that you could go do and start putting into place right away to start seeing that change and start working through the forgiveness that you need to as we prepare for Christmas and the rest of the holiday season. All right, so grab a piece of paper, open a note. I highly recommend you just jot down your thoughts as you go, so that way you can be able to take as much as you can away from this and start to implement it as soon as possible. All right, so let's explore. Let's go through these ways that your gifts and superpowers, you could utilize them to offer forgiveness and heal relationships this Christmas season. And so the first way I want to talk about is utilizing it to be, the healing space creator. Creating healing space involves more than just rearranging furniture or maybe lighting candles. Like, it's about crafting emotional environments where people feel safe and can share and reflect and connect. A healing space encourages vulnerability without fear or judgment. It allows family members to just express themselves openly. And so this could be, a cozy nook in the house, maybe by a fire. It could be a quiet corner with some soft music, or maybe a structured moment around the dinner table set aside for this meaningful conversation. The atmosphere plays a crucial role in really creating and fostering the forgiveness that you're going to do. And when people feel comfortable, both physically and emotionally, they're more likely to open up. These spaces act as sanctuaries, where healing can just naturally unfold, giving people the opportunity to share feelings or simply enjoy the peace together. Now, it could be you go for a walk. It could be outdoors. There's all sorts of ways that you could approach that, but you're going to want to be paying attention to the atmosphere and the surroundings that you have. So you start by just, if you're going to do it in your home, like gather the areas in your home where people would just naturally get together and gather and discuss, and then enhance these spaces. Like, what's the warm lighting we can do? How do we make sure seating's as comfortable as possible? Any thoughtful touches, soft blankets or tea or things that help people just feel that comfort. And then choose times when people feel relaxed. It could be things like right after a meal or during a quiet evening, around a campfire. Find the ways to encourage the reflection and connection, and be intentional about maintaining the emotional safety of that environment. So do all you can to avoid discussing any heavy topics in public areas, or when the energy levels maybe are low. It might be time to hold back on that and wait until we can boost energy a little bit more before we dive into that. Create opportunities where possible for private conversations and those one-on-one moments where you can build trust. All right, so a couple superpowers that you could look at, people utilize, whether you have these ones or you want to utilize other ones. These are just a couple that came to mind for me that you could utilize when you're doing this. Some people are really good at space intuition and breathing energy and atmosphere creation. Understanding how the environment affects your emotions, sensing the way people are feeling and that energy around it, and designing spaces that just promote healing. Now, you may have other superpowers that you want to use there, but these are just some, one that came to mind as I was thinking through this. Now, the second way that you could do this is you need to be the pattern breaker. Family dynamics often follow very predictable patterns where old habits and unresolved tensions can resurface year after year. You may have felt that. And these patterns can feel, can keep families feeling stuck in cycles of hurt and misunderstanding. And so as a pattern breaker, you identify these maybe repeating dynamics and introduce new ways to maybe interact and change that dynamic or that pattern, allowing family members to step out of their typical roles and experience healthier relationships. Breaking a pattern requires some serious courage and creativity. It's not a simple thing that you do. And it involves being aware of those recurring issues, understanding where they're rooted and what was their cause, and helping others to see the potential for change. Now, this might mean rethinking seating arrangements at dinner, or preventing familiar conflicts from, or introducing new activities that encourage positive interactions. Like, there's all sorts of ways to look at that. So observe your family dynamics with an open mind, and then take note of the triggers or recurring arguments or emotional undercurrents that there could be. And these insights are going to start to, gently shift the narrative that could be happening at that time. For example, if mealtime conversation often turns tense, then why don't we suggest a gratitude sharing activity or conversation starters that focus on positive memories and shared appreciation? Introduce small changes that just disrupt the old patterns without making others defensive. You could look at something like, you could lead with humor to defuse tension and redirect conversations that veer towards negativity with it. Keep the focus on creating opportunities for connection rather than confrontation. All right. Now, a couple superpowers you could use here are going to be things like, there are things like pattern recognition. People have the superpower of innovation, or people are good at change management and change facilitation. So you can identify recurring themes within a family dynamic, or you can create new ways of relating, being very innovative and creative with that, or helping others just adapt to what new patterns that there could be. Now, the third way is going to be to be the tradition transformer and upgrader. Traditions are often the glue that binds most families together. And the holiday season, Christmas season, there's tons of traditions that happen. But they also can bring this, perpetrated exclusion or tension that that can come with it. And a tradition transformer assesses which maybe traditions foster connections and which ones need to maybe evolve and change. And this approach, it allows your family to honor their history while making space for maybe healing and inclusion. When you start to upgrade and transform traditions, it requires you to be sensitive, but also requires collaboration from multiple people so that you don't feel like you're going at it alone. And it's about understanding what each family member values and finding ways to adapt the customs that serve everyone involved. Now, this might mean replacing contentious family debate with lighthearted trivia games, or adding new ritual like a gratitude circle before dinner, or appreciation, or a spotlight of people and what they've accomplished this year. There's so many ways that you could approach that. So review your family's traditions and consider their impact. Are they inclusive? Do they promote joy? Do they promote connection? Do they promote belonging? If not, then let's brainstorm the ways that you could adjust them or replace them. You could invite input from family members. That way everyone feels that they've been involved in shaping what this change or new tradition could be. And honestly, you just have to start small by modifying one or two things within a tradition rather than trying to overhaul everything at once. For example, if you're getting together for a holiday meal and that can be stressful, maybe suggest a potluck style, or, to share the workload. If gift giving feels like this big obligation, well, propose meaningful alternative. Like, how do we do maybe Secret Santa, or what's the handcrafted things that people can do that just have more meaning to you. Now, a couple superpowers that I know involve here that I jotted down are things like people being able to evolve the pattern and the tradition of what normally happens, adapting those customs while preserving meaning. Some people, there's a sensitivity of understanding family dynamics, and then change leadership, being able to guide transformation thoughtfully and make sure that everyone feels included as a part of that. Now, the next one is you have to sometimes step in and be the generational healer. Generational wounds often manifest in unresolved conflicts or unspoken stories that shape how families interact. And a generational healer helps bridge those divides by encouraging understanding across age groups. And as you look at this, it's about involving, helping family members to appreciate how the past events influence the present relationship and foster dialogue that heals these old wounds. So if you're in this type of a role where you're doing that, it is really impactful during the holidays season and during the gatherings that you're going to have, which often brings multiple generations together. And by encouraging storytelling and shared activities or mutual respect, you can create these opportunities for younger and older family members to connect in meaningful ways. You can check the last couple videos I've done where I give all sorts of ideas of creating magic this holiday season and bringing people together to help with that. But the core concept of all of them is that you just need to facilitate conversations that allow the different generations to share their experiences, whether it's their storytelling prompts that draw on memories and lessons and values. You encourage younger family members to ask questions, to listen actively, to foster a sense of shared history, for the younger generation to maybe share things that they're doing with the older generation. Plan this intergenerational activities. That just promote bonding. It could be something like cooking a family recipe together, or how do we create that family scrapbook, or go out and play a game. These experiences bridge that gap between age groups and create lasting memories for everyone. And so a couple of superpowers people can pull. And once again, all of these are just ideas of superpowers, but you could definitely find the ways that you utilize yours. And so some people are great at helping to facilitate storytelling and drawing out and sharing family narratives and asking really good prompting questions to guide the conversation. And some people, it's healing guidance, supporting the healing that comes with this multi-generational approach. Now, the fifth one is going to be on being the emotional translator. Communication often breaks down because people struggle to express their emotions clearly, or they misinterpret others' intentions. And if you're an emotional translator, you step in to help your family and help those family members to articulate their feelings and understand one another better. And so it involves, bridging those emotional gaps that there are to create those deeper connections. Emotional translation, as I guess I'm going to call it now, it's really important during these holiday moments when misunderstandings could escalate so quickly. People are tired, people are feeling run down because there's so many things happening. And so when you recognize the unspoken feelings and help others to find the right words, you can diffuse conflicts and really promote a meaningful dialogues. And so what you want to do is pay attention to both verbal and nonverbal cues that could be happening. If you notice someone is struggling to communicate, then just gently step in and help clarify their feelings. Use reflective listening to validate the emotions and to ensure that everyone feels heard. Offer tools like prompts or structured activities that make emotional expression easier. For example, like you could encourage family members to share highs and lows from the year as a way to just start meaningful conversations. Now, the next one is you have to be the peace creator or the peace pioneer. When relationships are strained, someone must take the first step towards that reconciliation. And I'm going to use pioneer then. If you're a peace pioneer blazing that trail, you initiate the healing process by reaching out, even if it's difficult. It's about choosing courage over comfort to restore the connection. And taking the first step isn't about being the bigger person. It's about valuing that relationship enough to take action. By demonstrating vulnerability and sincerity, the peace pioneer that you could be creates openings for others to follow. And so, once again, this is another one where you just want to start with small gestures that show your willingness to reconnect. It could be sending a thoughtful text message. It could be sharing a fond memory. Choose moments when the other person is likely to be receptive and frame your actions with just genuine care and authenticity. And then be patient with the process. Don't try to rush things. Healing takes time and sometimes multiple attempts. And focus on creating that foundation of trust rather than rushing towards the resolution that could be there waiting for you at the end of the tunnel. Forgiveness, isn't just about the person maybe who hurt you. It's about freeing yourself from that weight of the resentment. It's about stepping into your superpowers and creating a holiday season where tensions turn to trust and hurts turn to healing. As you wrap watching this video today, I'm going to challenge you to choose one relationship, maybe one moment of hurt or an opportunity for forgiveness, and use your gifts and superpowers to take that step forward. You're going to find that it's the greatest gift that you could give this Christmas. It's not going to be something that's wrapped under the tree. It's the peace and the connection that you bring to the hearts of those you love. Now, on top of that, once again, just remember, all of the things I'm talking about today, they're grounded in principles within my book, The Giver Method. Go to Amazon, get your copy. You can still get a copy delivered to you before Christmas. It's that guide of discovering and developing gifts, superpowers, creating meaningful impact in all your relationships, which part of that is forgiveness and that healing that happens with it. Once again, you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, all those places. Please take the time to like this video. If you didn't subscribe, go ahead now, ring the bell. But comment what your thoughts were. Let me know what area that you could potentially be focusing on this holiday season for forgiveness, and share it in the comments because it could be something that inspires somebody else to start taking action. And with that, I'll just say until next time, just keep growing and keep giving, and remember that your gifts, that they have the power to heal hearts and transform families this holiday season and make it the best holiday season that you've ever had. What a great way to come together and rekindle those connections and to catapult yourself into the new year by having those rekindled and healed relationships. And so with that, I'll just say have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you on our next video. Have a good one.